Ayy, look, yeah, ayy. I'm in the lab like Dexter, brand new batch he tested. I'm with all the extras, don't try and bitch, I'm pressure. I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers. I'm the type to step on steppers, I'm the type to step on steppers.
Let's go ahead and jump right into it, man. AFC West record predictions. We'll go ahead and have to kick us off as always.
So, I got the Raiders finishing last in this division. That shouldn't be too much of a surprise. I have them going. I wanted to be a bit generous on this side to them, so I went 6-11 for the Raiders. Next up, just above them, I have the Broncos, and I know a lot of people are predicting how Broncos bounce back, and I don't think they'll be as bad as they were last year. But I'm not fully bought into the hype with the Broncos when I thought about it again. The preseason game, yeah, it is preseason, but what I saw in those glimpses in the preseason, I wasn't particularly satisfied with what I saw. So I have this team finishing 8-9. Next up, I have the Chargers, and they're a team that have been having lofty expectations the last 2 years, especially with Justin Herbert. Last year they splurged in the offseason. They went on, got a lot of guys, and injuries caught up, and some guys just didn't work out for them. And it was kind of a disappointing season to cap it all off. That 27-0 lead that they had on the Jaguars, that they completely blew it. I think that was just icing on the cake on that season. So I do have these guys, maybe getting up to 10 wins. So I have them finishing at 10-7. And then no surprise, I have number one. I have the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, and Andy Reid. That's enough said in Travis Kelce. So I have them finishing 12-5.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna go with the Broncos finishing 5-12, dead last in that division. I just feel like it's not really much of an upgrade. I mean, Sean Payton is a great coach, but to me, they still have a lot of other issues on that team, and I still think Russell Wilson, he's fallen off. Those first 2 games that he played in the preseason, that O-line looked shit to me. Still look like the same O-line they had last year. So it's going to be, same problems. I got them dead last. So I'm going to go with the Raiders right here at 7 wins. I think I'm going to give them 7-9 here. I feel like Jimmy G comes in. He's more of a game-managing quarterback. They had some success last year with the run. Felt like they attacked the run again this year much more, and just let Jimmy G handle the ball with care, not like Derek Carr does. And Derek Carr last year, he was gunning it. He was throwing it to Devontae Adams a lot, but he's not a fantastic quarterback to me. Jimmy G is not as well, but he's a game managing quarterback. I feel like, Josh McDaniels, he's going to focus on the run. He's going to, just feed the ball to Josh Jacobs. I feel like Devontae's stats is going to go down because he's not going to get a lot of looks like he had from last year from Carr, but I do think this defensive, they upgraded a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. So 7-10 for the Raiders. And then, the Chargers are going to be sitting right here at second in the division. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. AFC looking tough, but they, I got them either 10 wins or maybe 9 wins, depending on how the health issues come arise. They, the last couple of years, they always been getting injured. There's always been injury issues. Their defense, they signed a lot of key players, and those key players, getting hurt. Mac missing a lot of games. Boza, they drafted him but re-signed him to a fat contract. He's missing a lot of games. I'm sure last year one of the cornerbacks, was it J.C. Jackson that tore his ACL or Achilles?
Yeah.
J.C. Jackson, another guy that they signed from the Patriots a year before that. He tore something. So, if they can get healthy on the defensive side of the ball, and Herbert, he has his targets in Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. They drafted Quentin Johnson. The offense is electric. They got Eckler back there, but it's always one standing issue with the Chargers, and that's going to be Staley. Can Staley take them over in the hump? The decision-making that he has, and the way he coaches games, late games, and the way he can rally teams. It was kind of embarrassing. You're up 27-0, and you blow that lead in the playoff game, and you're not really telling you guys anything. You're just standing on that sideline. So, yeah, it's going to be a big issue with Staley, and I got them 10-7 here, but they're going to be fine for a playoff spot. And then here we go with the Chiefs, man, and defending Super Bowl champs. Got them 13-4. I feel like, this year they always find a way to make it work with the receiver group and what they got going on in offense. Every year we come in and be like, oh, they're missing this player. They're missing that. This year I feel like, the offense is going to be a little more shaped up. They're going to trust the run game. They see what Pacheco can do. They have McKinnon back again. And, they got a core young receiver. So, they lost Juju, but you still got one of the best tight ends in the league in Kelce and a bunch of young receivers around him. So I feel like the offense is going to be electric. I still don't know if Chris Jones has showed up to camp yet. I know he's been dealing with the contract issue with the team. He's wanted to get paid like one of the best D tackles in the game, which he is, and he deserves. And it's a lot of players right now holding out. So, we got a couple more weeks left to see what happens. But I feel like the Chiefs, 13-4, they got a tough schedule. They got some big teams they face this year. So 13-4 might be a reach, but you can't go against Mahomes.
Yeah, for me, at number 4, no surprise here, the Las Vegas Raiders. I got these guys finishing with a record of like 5-12. Honestly, I just don't see a successful season for the Las Vegas Raiders. I think losing Derek Carr is going to be a lot bigger than people think. I mean, I don't think adding a guy like Jimmy G is going to help their situation whatsoever. I think signing a guy like Jimmy G made absolutely no sense to me. That franchise is pretty much moving backwards, and I honestly don't understand why. They have Devontae Adams on their roster. They got a couple good, solid players on their roster, but at the end of the day, it's the Las Vegas Raiders, and so I'll go ahead and be generous and give them 5 wins here. Then at number 3, I have the Denver Broncos. One of the teams I was thinking about talking about bouncing back for this upcoming season, but after careful consideration, I got these guys finishing with a record of 9-8. I think it's going to take a little bit of more time for Russell Wilson and Sean Payne to get used to each other. I think Russell Wilson will be a lot better this upcoming season than he was last year, but I just don't think it'll be that crazy of a leap for the Denver Broncos to be in contention for a playoff spot and things of that nature. So it's going to be a work in progress for the Denver Broncos, but they'll finish with a better record than they did last year. So I'll go ahead and give him 9-8 here. For the Los Angeles Chargers, this is a team that's been overhyped, and since for a couple of years now, it's been some time. Everybody's been talking about the Chargers and how they built some sort of great super team and all these acquisitions that they've gotten, Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson a couple of years ago, and and I think they'll have a successful regular season. It really depends on the health of their roster, like we mentioned. But I'll go ahead and give them about like 11 wins here, 11-6. They'll be competing for the Chiefs for a little bit, but at some point, the Chiefs, they'll go ahead and take the baton and just run, not look back. For the Kansas City Chiefs, of course, I have my number 1. I've got these guys winning 13 games. What is that? 13-4. They won 7 straight, division titles. I don't see that stopping this year. As long as these guys have Patrick Mahomes under center, Travis Kelce as their wide receiver, if they have Andy Reid calling the plays, these guys are going to walk into 12, 13 wins a season. Like this, that's just what the Kansas City Chiefs do. At this point, there's no fighting it. There's no going against it. You just can't defeat these guys. These guys will be there time and time again, winning a whole lot of football games, being number 1 in the AFC, having home field advantage throughout the course of the playoffs, and then pretty much on their way to a Super Bowl. If you want to win a Super Bowl, you got to go through Kansas City. That's pretty much what it is, and that's how it's been for a while now. But those are pretty much our predictions for the AFC West.
Record a new hit, then we making us a film. Wouldn't sign a deal if I got a couple mil. Been in the lab, now they throwing out deals. Me and now Lake, now that's overkill.